What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back to the latest and the greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, SimFBallCritic, whatever you want to call him. Just say what's up. What's going on, good people, man? Hope everybody is well. Oh, man, this off season is already starting to kick butt, right? Already starting to kick butt because there's not too terribly much to talk about. Let me actually check real quick. Let's check a website or two to see if there's anything I want to discuss outside of what I already have. Hold on, guys. But as you can see in the title, guys, my main topic will definitely be more specific to what we've heard from Art Rooney. Yeah, there we have it. Actually, I got some more information here that I just saw. Hold on. Okay. Thought I saw something, but nothing important. But we're going to get into it, guys. We're going to get into it. Let's say hello to the early commenters, man. See what you guys got going on here. 412, born and raised. Nathan, Manco. Hello. The lovely Lanisha in the building. Hello, Lanisha. Fellas, lay out the red carpet for our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Treat them with care. Don't make me ask again. Crazy Ron Gaming in the building. Wide Diggy in the building. Who else we got up in here, man? The infamous Tim is in the building. Mark Cunningham in the building as well. Who else we got in here? Hudson W. McKissick. He says, what's up, Sim? What's up to you, Hudson? I don't think I've seen that name before, so forgive me if I have, but don't recognize it. But hello, welcome, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Absolutely, thank you for that. Steeler Cards in the building. Dog Dirty CEO. Oh, Do Dirty CEO. Am I saying that correctly? Got to put my glasses on. He says, I'll read a comment. He says, Sim, from looking at the comments people have been making in Steeler Nation, it seems as if they don't remember or live through what being a Steeler fan was like from the 80s up until we got bent. That is an excellent point. That is a point my good brother Kenyon, who I see in the building as well, has made several times. Listen, guys, like I told you, I didn't actively watch the Steelers the way I watch them now until the Ben Roethlisberger era. Let me explain what I'm saying. Yes, I saw games before Roethlisberger. I seen all of these quarterbacks that I won't even name. But I was at a young, tender age where I wasn't so in tune with football as I am now, if you understand what I'm saying, right? I definitely understood that we weren't winning a lot and all of that, but I wasn't as in tune with football the way I am now, being older in my years. I was a young, snot-nosed little punk, right? During those times, didn't really understand all that was going on. So, I'll say a year or two, once Ben got drafted, I'd say maybe a year or two before that, I was more intently watching, paying attention, understanding, and all yada, yada, yada. And then a couple of years later, here comes Ben, where I'm really focused on the team, right? So you guys understand what I'm saying. There was a time period in most of our lives when we were young and running around. You peeked in, you watched football here and there, but you wasn't so locked in like you may have been in your older years, your mid-20s, your 30s, and things like that, right? So, but he's absolutely correct. I do know the history, and yeah, there was a ton of non-success from the Pittsburgh Steelers organization during the time period that he's talking to. I mean, realistically, if you get outside of the golden years, I would say golden years, again, I wasn't fortunate enough to see this in real time, but outside of the 70s, there was a run of sorry for the trigger warning if that triggered somebody, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, and that kind of rolls into how we feel about the Steelers, why we have so many expectations, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to beat us up as a fan base, but it's a fact. It is a fact. That is the reason why we have such high expectations, because one of two teams with 6 of those things, and we saw it in the early 2000s, got 2 more, went to a third, didn't get that one, unfortunately. And now that expectation of getting 7, 8, 9, and even 10 Super Bowls is what the Steeler Nation holds right here on their shoulders. So anytime you see just consistency of winning or no losing seasons, then yeah, Steeler fans have grown tired of that. But as the Dude Dirty CEO just said, it could be a lot worse, man. It could be a lot worse, but I'll get into it. No, we're not making no excuses tonight. Walter Worthy is in the building, and I'll say a couple of more names. Angie, a.k.a. Baby Steeler. What is going on, Angie? Again, another one of our faithful lady listeners, guys. Take care of them. Make sure you say hello. Kev So Fun and James Tresvant. And we'll get started right there. So, like I said, guys, I don't have a ton to get into tonight. I'm really just going to break down some of the things that I heard from Art Rooney II, right? That's what I'm going to talk about. And you guys feel free to comment, and then I'll spend a little bit of time in the chat, and then that'll be that, right? So, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, he did an interview recently. He sat down. The interview is on Steelers.com, of course. I think he may have done another one because I saw Steelers Depot post something about he commented on the comments that Brother Jim made, which we talked about last week. I have not seen or heard or read that interview. I just listened to the 7-minute interview that's on Steelers.com, and that's what I'm, kind of going through tonight. So the first thing that stuck out to me, Art Rooney basically acknowledges the 3-game stretch in the 11 days, says that it took a toll on the season, right? For the worse. We all know that there was a point that the Steelers were 10-3. We knew that stretch was coming, and the question was asked of him, playing 3 games in 11 days, do you think that took a toll or hit on the downslide of the season? Art Rooney said, yes, he does think that did take a toll, but also he said other teams, had the same schedule for the most part, and we know what teams they were. But he did acknowledge that was a tough stretch, and I think we all can acknowledge it as well as a fan base now after the season. Now that we've been away from the season a couple weeks now, if you really look at that, yes, obviously it took a toll, but what it did do is it exposed or it showcased where the Steelers were from a level standpoint. And this is what I always talk about, guys. Again, some of you guys will get upset when I say, listen, put things in perspective, but y'all know that's always who I am. I put things in perspective, whether it's a good or bad thing, right? It's perspective. It's not excuses. It's perspective. Some of you will still say, oh, you're making excuses, which I never understand why y'all go that route. I have nothing invested in the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as the staff or who's the coaching and who's the players. I have nothing invested in that. So it does me no good to make excuses for anybody. I'm all about the team. But the reality is, just looking at this season alone, and I believe I said that during the season, that 3-game stretch was going to show us where we were. Because remember, the teams we played won. So for a lot of people who want to make the excuse of saying, man, that was a tough schedule, man, and that stretch, and true, but the teams we played won. Eagles beat us, who will be going to the Super Bowl this year. The Ravens beat us, who played in the divisional round. And who else did we lose to in that stretch? I'm blanking out. Chiefs, also Super Bowl team. Also, 3rd time in a row that they've gone to the Super Bowl, reigning champion. Those were the teams we lost to. What it actually did is it showed us Steeler fans, I'll say us, even though I already saw it coming in terms of what type of team we were. I didn't say I'm not going to sit here and say I predicted the future, but I had been telling you guys for weeks what type of team I felt we were, and it showed. It showed that we were not as offensively capable as the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, or the Kansas City Chiefs. It showed that defensively, we were just a levee, trying to keep the dam from breaking, right? A bend but don't break type of defense. But also, a lot of us had been saying throughout the season, hey, this team gives up explosive plays. It's going to turn around and bite them in the butt at the wrong time because the offense doesn't produce enough points. 1, offense doesn't sustain enough drives. 2, offense doesn't sustain drives to take possessions away from the other team. 3, time of possession. And it showed us in those games. It showed us straight up and down that we were not on the same level as these teams that we've watched in the playoffs. And that's just the reality of it. I know we could kick and scream and cuss and yell and whatever we want to do, but if we put it all in perspective, we all should have realized that our team was not on the same level as those teams. Like I said, 2 of which who will be playing in the Super Bowl. So Art Rooney did acknowledge that. Let's see what else he said that stuck out to me. He also said, finishing the way we did isn't good enough, but most of the coaching staff will stay in place. I'm going to paraphrase again what I just said. Again, these words are me paraphrasing what Art Rooney said. If you want to check my validity, go watch the interview yourself. 7 minutes. But Art Rooney said finishing the way we did was not good enough, but most of the coaching staff will stay in place. He even said he looks forward to seeing Arthur Smith being able to fully implement his system. He's looking forward to seeing what Arthur Smith can do in year 2. The reason why this is important, again, I don't know this to be fact. Can I say that again? I don't know this to be fact. But anytime you hear me speak semi-confidently, I'm using an educated speculation. Educated speculation. It's okay to speculate when you hear things from valuable sources that can make you draw a conclusion. Did I just come up with my own definition? Educated speculation is when you can draw a conclusion from things that are said from a viable source. Exhibit A, viable source is Art Rooney II, current president of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He said, once again, and I quote, "I look forward to seeing what Arthur Smith can do in his second year where he's able to fully implement his system." The interviewer also went on to say, yeah, that's usually when you see an offensive coordinator or a coordinator, take a step is in that second year. So here's my educated speculation. It is not just Mike Tomlin's philosophy. It is also coming from upstairs. And y'all know anytime I'm trying to be funny, I pronounce a word funny. Not stairs. Upstairs. It comes from upstairs. Some of y'all in this chat said that last week. Some of y'all were right on top of it and you said, hey, that philosophy is from the top down. But there's your proof. Art Rooney knows what type of offensive coordinator Arthur Smith is. Can we all agree to that? Art Rooney sat pretty much in the same position last year and said, we got to get back to Steelers football. We've got to be able to run the football and score points offensively and stop the run. Y'all remember that? So, of course, Mike Tomlin, I'm sure, has the autonomy to be able to hire who he wants. But It comes from upstairs, the Steeler way. Let me pause myself for a moment as I thank Walter Worthy for the Wonder Bread. I appreciate it, brother. Round of applause. I'm with you, Walt. Hope you don't mind me calling you Walt. I'm with you. He says, what is the old saying about that definition of insanity? So yes, Mike Tomlin deserves blame for, he's the head man. Of course, you got to look at the head coach. Whether you like him or dislike him, he's in that position. So you have to look at the head coach. You have to look at the coordinators. You have to look at the players for execution or lack thereof. But ultimately as well, you have to look up stars, ownership. And here's an owner sitting there saying that he's looking forward to Arthur Smith. And again, guys, listen, I'm not trying to be slick here. I understand it's a business. You ain't going to come out and trash your coordinator. The president of the Pittsburgh Steelers is smart enough not to do that. But again, he clearly said that he's looking forward to seeing his system get implemented, but also the bigger picture of what this says, there will be no firings. And guys, gals, is this not what I have been saying? Not just me. I'm not taking all the credit, but y'all can routinely hear me say they do not fire coaches. I have not seen it in my lifetime. Now, maybe some of you guys that saw those early 80s and before Steelers, maybe y'all can tell me if it's happened. I did not look up that history. But in my lifetime, I have not known the Pittsburgh Steelers to fire a coach or position coach. Fire. Outright fire. Not let their contract expire. Fire. Matter of fact, and shout outs to my man, Bruce Arians. I know people were resurfacing that video, that interview he did some years back when he talked about how he was let go. If I remember correctly, he wasn't fired. He just wasn't retained, right? I think he even said it himself in that interview that they didn't bring me back. That means I got fired. That's what he said. But his contract expired. Expired. Y'all can tell I watch too much TV, right? And commercials are just stuck in my head. I have not known the Pittsburgh Steelers to fire a coach. So again, this is the reason why I tell you lovely people, man, I understand what y'all want to see and what y'all want to happen. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. I just saw a donation pop up, but I don't see the donation. So I don't know who that was. Let me see if it shows on the phone in the stream. Hold on, y'all. I want to give you your shout out and thank you for the Wonder Bread, but I don't see it. Hold on. Yeah, I don't see it. So whoever that was, thank you. Thank you very much. Round of applause to whoever that was. Expired. But yeah, listen, man. Again, I don't make the rules, guys. I just study. I study. I study the franchise. They don't fire. So that's why I keep saying, guys, listen, we can say that, and I know you're getting your anger off and you're trying to get it off your chest, but I just don't waste my time dibbling and dabbling in things that I know is not going to happen. So that's the only reason why I'm bringing that up. But yeah, Art Rooney, man, is leaning into Arthur Smith. So like I said a couple weeks ago, guys, the best opportunity that we have for the Steelers to advance is clearly the philosophy has to change. So maybe somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin will change his philosophy and his approach. And maybe he conveys that to Art Rooney and such, and everybody realizes, okay, these are the coaches we have in place. How can we infuse some newness into our philosophy? Either that's going to happen, or they're going to build a roster that can better carry out their philosophy. Those are our only two chances of our Steelers going further than they did this past season. New coaching is not going to be the answer in terms of getting rid of the big boys. Big boys meaning offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. Still Lee, I appreciate the Wonder Bread. Round of applause. Oh, wait. You're right. You're right. You are right. He's right. Matt Canada got fired. Right? Yeah. You are correct. So that was the only time that I recall. You are absolutely correct. See, I'm glad you reminded me of that. See how bad Matt Canada was in our minds? I didn't even remember that, but you are absolutely correct. Matt Canada did get fired. That is one coach in 50 plus years of their existence that was fired. But look at how he got fired. He was severely underproducing. And unfortunately, again, guys, Arthur Smith has not been quite put in that same situation where each game yet, because again, last year was his first season. So here you go. There's another ray of hope. There's another ray of hope. If Arthur Smith starts off horrendous in 2025, maybe they'll do a Matt Canada. So there's another ray of hope. Thank you, Still Elite, for reminding me of that. You are actually correct. And yeah. Mark Cunningham says, well, it took 3 years or so to do it. So, but yeah, thank you, Still Elite. And if anybody else can think of anybody else, I think Matt Canada was the only one. And that's crazy, man. Stability and loyalty, I guess, is the still away. Round of applause, man, to Do Dirty CEO. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, brother. Very good question, Do Dirty. He says, do you think the front office culture with the Steelers is beginning to change with how we've been having free agency and the draft since Omar Khan? I can answer that very quickly. Yes. That part has changed. The only thing that doesn't appear to be changing is philosophy in terms of offensive and defensive approach. But I absolutely will say that the front office is starting to change. Omar Khan has come in these years that he's been there, he's done things that we hadn't really seen the Steelers do. As far as be more aggressive and sorting out these players and drafting these players, Omar Khan, again, no shot or disrespect to Kevin Colbert, because I know a lot of people always want to do that. You want to kick the old person down and forget what they did. I don't have no beef with Kevin Colbert. I know his philosophy was, bargain shopping, right? But hey, Kevin Colbert, his regime brought some Super Bowls. But I will say that Omar Khan's approach is more aggressive, and I like that. It's more of the new age era. I like that mentality and approach versus Kevin Colbert's approach. But I am not going to sit here and disrespect Kevin Colbert. But yeah, there you have it. Okay, what else do I have? He says he would like to have Russell Wilson or Justin Fields back. Does not anticipate being able to sign both. He also said that he felt like both of those guys did enough to deserve the gig for next year. So here's the question, guys. Which one do you think they go after? There's rumors that's come out. I don't know how true they are, but there's already sources or whatever saying that the Steelers, I think maybe Russell Wilson might have said it himself. I didn't watch the interview, but I think Russell Wilson said that he's already started to talk and have contract negotiations with the Steelers. You guys could tell me who y'all prefer, but I'll just give you my quick feedback on that. Listen, no disrespect to Russell Wilson. You guys know how I feel about him. I think he did a good job in spots this past season, but there's also things that showed from Russell Wilson that most people would say was evident throughout his whole career. One, doesn't attack the middle of the field, but two, with me watching all 22 footage on Russell Wilson for a full season, had never done that before, is not only does he not go to the middle of the field, but when he is forced to stay in that pocket, he gets swallowed up. He kind of gets lost in there and he gets antsy because he can't necessarily see what's happening. That showed up. You think about the Seattle days when Russell Wilson became what I believe a Hall of Fame career. They had him on the move. Russell Wilson was the most deadly when he was on the move, moving that pocket, booting him out. Not just standing in the middle of the pocket and being a pocket passer. When that had to happen this season, it didn't bode well for us. So my personal opinion, I hope that you go ahead and get Justin Fields, because re-signing Justin Fields will be cheap. You know, he'll make a little bit of money, but it's not going to be quarterback market money. You can work and develop him being 25, turning 26. You can still draft a guy if you want to do that and sign a veteran. So I think the Steelers are in a unique situation right now where they have a young enough guy that they can go and try to work with and see what talent you can get out of him and still buy yourself a year or two and draft. That would be my preference. Like I said before, I think Justin Fields is capable of running a Lamar Jackson-esque type of offense if necessary. Since we want to be a running team, transform yourselves into the running team that the Ravens are in terms of approach. He's not Lamar Jackson. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is you could approach it the same way. You can now have a zone read type of offense. We saw it for 6 games. Now, a couple of those games, the run game got going, but also how many touchdowns did Justin Fields have with his legs? Continue to build him up, work on his accuracy, work on his reads, work on him becoming a better quarterback. The same way Lamar Jackson ended up becoming a better quarterback year after year. I think Justin Fields has the exact same potential. He has a cannon arm. So now he has to continue to work on accuracy, which he has accuracy at times, and decision making. But then all of the other physical tools that he possesses. You got something there. It's worth a try. That would be my preference if I am to believe Art Rooney and him saying that we like to keep one of them at least. That would be my choice. Let's see. What else did he say, guys? We're almost done, man. I'll come to the chat here in a moment. He also says, feels good about the last 2 draft classes. Feels like they are the foundation for the future. And he talked particularly about the offensive line. I don't know if I can disagree with him there. Again, I'll give you this. Some people are out on Broderick Jones and some people are not. Some people are saying, let him develop, get him over to the left side and see how he does. Not here to challenge how you feel for him, good or bad. But if you take what Art Rooney said at face value, Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier. That definitely sounds like possibly a bright future. So I would agree with that statement when him saying the last 2 draft classes could serve as a foundation for the future, particularly the offensive line. Yes, I know a lot of you guys have beat up the offensive line this season. I talk to people all the time. Oh, man, that sorry offensive line. Listen, I know they had some bumps and bruises, but we're not going to sit here and act like largely Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick did a great job, especially being rookies and being thrown in the fire. We're not going to sit here and act like that. We're not going to sit here and act like that the offensive line was completely trash. At times, yes, they gave up some sacks. They gave up some pressure. But those 2 young men in particular, as well as Troy Faltanu, what we saw early, I am encouraged. I'm hopeful or hoping. I'm not going to say hopeful. I am hoping that Broderick Jones can get it together. If they move him to the left side, most likely they won't re-sign Dan Moore, and they'll give it a go. And we shall see. We shall see. The last thing that he mentioned, he says, and this one is special because this is something that I say all the time and you guys kill me for it. Art Rooney said, you know, we got 10 wins and we were a playoff team again. And, you know, we just got to find a way to do better than we did this time. That might just sound like talk to you guys. Some of y'all are probably upset because maybe he didn't show enough anger towards not winning a playoff game since 2016. Some of you guys are still mad at his brother's comments last week talking about largely they've outperformed the NFL as a whole. But with Art Rooney saying this, you know what that says to me? Again, y'all kill me for this. That says exactly what I've been telling you guys every time people are clamoring for Mike Tomlin to be fired. That statement right there, in my opinion, educated speculation, ching, ching, ching. As long as we are a winning season team, get to the playoffs, whether we win or lose, this keeps coming in. Ching, ching, ching. Oh, man. You know, we had 10 wins. Got in the playoffs. That sounds like ticket sales. That sounds like being in the public light. Being in the know. The talk of the town. Fans being hopeful. That's what that sounds like. It's a business. Let's not forget that it is a business. They want to make money. They want to keep butts in the seats. There's no better way to do that in any sports franchise other than winning. Now, I know, still a nation. I know. Yeah, but we're not winning playoff games and we're not winning Super Bowls. I get it. I want to see another one too. But do you know what keeps the cash registers ringing? Is a team having a winning season consistently, which builds hope. Whether it's false hope or fool's gold, it builds hope to the fans. And when the fans are hopeful and they think it's a possibility, they bring their butts to the stadium, they pay their money, they sit there, and every time the Steelers go, and that's another Steelers first down. For those of you who've been at the stadium, first down. They know it's going to bring all the hopeful fans, and in the fourth quarter, I can't say the words because, you know, YouTube be trying to get you for copyright. Boom, 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 boom. Towel swinging, renegade rocking. Ching, ching, ching. That's what it's all about, folks. For an organization that has 6 of them things. You understand? So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's business. It's business. We keep winning. We keep winning. Let that sink in. The more we win, the more we win. That's it. And our president, not talking about the United States one, the Steelers president, just confirmed all of that. Hey, we're going to keep rocking with how we rocking. I think we got this. He said this too. I think we got the right staff to get it done. I'm looking forward to see Arthur Smith continue to implement his system. We want to run that ball. Hey, man, we got there. We just got to find a way to win it when we get there. Hey, it was another 10-win season. Hey, that's positive. That's what he said. He said it without telling y'all, hey, that's a plus for us. That's a plus for us. He didn't spell it out. Got to put your glasses on and read between the lines. Hey, that's a plus for us. Hey, that Mike Tomlin boy, I tell you, before we hired him, we was 3 consecutive seasons without a losing season. And after we hired him, here we are with 18 more of them. Boy. Ching, ching, ching. So I'm sorry, guys. I hate to be the one to have to report on that, but again, we all want championships. We all want to get out of the playoffs. But the owner just told you right there, listen, again, this is important, guys. This is very important. 1 of 2 teams with 6. These Kansas City Chiefs that are on this run, they don't have 6. You see what I'm getting at? Tops in the league at championships. So organizations are not just thinking that every year. They just want to be a household name and make the money. Well, that's all I got. Give me a few things in the comments, guys, before I get out of here. What y'all got? You right, Steelers cards. The way they going, listen, man, I didn't, you remember I came on here and said, hey, man, I think we can get the Chiefs on Christmas. Remember? I probably said this, trying to think of what week it was, because we played them what week we played them? 17 or 15? Whatever week we played them, I said it a couple of weeks before that. The Chiefs weren't looking strong. They weren't. The Chiefs wasn't looking strong. They really wasn't looking strong until later in the season when they started producing some points. Trust me, I know. Patrick Mahomes was my fantasy quarterback. And I'm here to tell y'all, the Chiefs were not looking strong for the most of the season. They looked vulnerable. Then they start getting it going here late. And here they are now putting points up. And the defense is balling. Champions. Got to take off your hat and hand it to them. They just find a way, but they are just that team right now. It's just what it is. Yeah, it's just what it is, man. Like I said, just like the Cowboys had their little run in the 90s, early 2000s, New England Patriots. This era, it's Kansas City Chiefs. 70s, it was the Steelers. Then the Steelers poked their head back in there also in the early to mid 2000s, getting 2 of them things. That's just how it goes, man. We're just not that team right now. That's all. And I get it. Have not won playoffs since 2016 to beat those Chiefs. Not these Chiefs, but those Chiefs. But it just is what it is at the moment, guys. It's just being honest. What else y'all got? I'll read a few more. Dominique says, yeah, but we only won 2 Super Bowls in 45 years. I don't think we're spoiled. The 70s teams are too far in the past. Dominic, I'm not saying we're spoiled, but I'm just saying look around. How many other teams are just winning Super Bowls consistently? That's all I'm saying. There's a ton of teams that have not won any. I get it. Listen, I'm not here to justify how long it's been. I am not. I'm just saying. Don't believe my word. Look around the league. That's how it goes. Every decade, you seem to get a team that's in it quite often. Like I said, I just went through it. I don't really know who was the power team in the 80s or if there were dynasties then. But like I said, 70s it was the Steelers. The 90s it was the Cowboys. They had a little run early. The 2000s, it was Steelers, Patriots. A couple other teams here and there had one or two. You see what I'm saying? And now it's the Chiefs. That's all I'm saying. I feel you, though. It's been a long time since we won one. I feel you. Oh, San Fran in the 80s? Okay. Yeah. That's probably right. And that's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. Oh, Mark says it took us 40 years before we won our first playoff game. Wow. Yeah, so like I said, man, when I say spoiled, I mean that kindly. I just mean that we are so used to success that we just can't take it. We can't take not being the team that, you know what I mean? And I get it. None of us are, I'll say nobody in Steeler Nation is wrong for that. I'm just saying, I've just become more of a perspective type of person, man. That's just how I live my life. I've lived my life like that most of my life, right? I take things in perspective and not get too antsy this way or that way. I try to break everything down to its very last compound. Some old hip hop for y'all right there. But I literally do that. I try to assess a situation and say, all right, what's the real? This is the superficial. This is the not real. Superficial, unrealistic. What's the real? That's just how I get down. That's just a little peek into my personality. What else y'all got? Nathan says we are not going to get another Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin. That's just a statement. We don't know that. What if we get one under Mike Tomlin? Then what? I respect it. I respect your opinion. I'm just saying that ain't nothing that I can say I agree or disagree because it's none of us know the answer to that. I've said before, I do think that a Mike Tomlin-led team can win a Super Bowl. I think so. The margin of error is not as big, though, because, again, Mike Tomlin has a specific philosophy. They want to be bullies and run the football and stop the run. That can work. I think a team that can do that well could win the Super Bowl. You're going to have to be able to, pass at times, but I think you could be a team that runs the football and stuffs the run with solid defense. I think that type of team could win a Super Bowl. Oh, Nathan, don't do that, man. I mean, I respect it, but I just don't guys, I never understand when people say that so-and-so won a Super Bowl with so-and-so's players. Come on, man. Okay. I mean, okay. I don't know what to say. I don't think it's easy to win a Super Bowl with whoever's players. I just, no disrespect to you, Nathan. I hate that comment, man. I hate that comment. I never liked that comment. Again, I acknowledge that I said this last week. Tony Dungy built the team that Gruden won with, but Gruden had to coach them through it. It's plain and simple. I think it's very possible another coach other than John Gruden at that time could take that same team and not win the Super Bowl. I use the basketball analogy. Mark Jackson largely built the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr inherited the foundation of that team, and he won. And he won again. And he won again. I think you can take another coach from the NBA and they don't win a championship. So, I feel you, Nathan, that that's your opinion, but I'm sorry, man. I just bad coaches can't win with good. A bad coach. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't think a bad coach can just go out and win a Super Bowl. But hey, Walter says Bill went out 8-8 with his players, and 3 years later, Tomlin gets the Super Bowl. You don't have to like Tomlin, but just stop it. Walter, that is an excellent point. For anybody who does feel that way, you're absolutely correct. That statement right there is absolutely correct. Round of applause to James Webb. Appreciate the Wonder Bread. Oh my God, man. James, man, I know if you've watched this show as much as I know you have, you know how I feel about that. He says, thoughts on please stop playing 10 to 12 yards off the receivers paired with loose zone behind it. Man, God, that's what I'm saying about philosophy, guys. And yes, I would even say this. We, in the last 5 years, have had, at one time, we were a top 10, top 5 even defense, I think. Maybe even higher. But even with that, I still hate how we line our guys off the ball so much. I understand you can't do the same thing all game, but even if you want to play zone, can we reduce that down to 7 yards, 6 yards? Why are we always giving up so much cushion? And even when we do it, we literally turn and force them inside. And okay, maybe that's cool to do when you got help over the top, when a guy's running like a post. But when it's 3rd and 3, and you lined up 10 yards off the receiver, and you say, go ahead, sir. Inside, sir. You're asking for a first down. We have to stop doing that. In man and zone, we have to stop lining up so far away from the receiver, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Ugh, man. Yeah, I don't like it, bro. Dominic says, honestly, the Steelers need to have a losing season to draft a franchise quarterback. That's how they got Ben and Bradshaw. Yeah. You know, I do believe that plays a factor, man. Draft position definitely plays a factor. You know, when you're talking about elite talents, like potentially an elite quarterback. Now, yes, did some guys, Russell Wilson, did he get drafted later? Sure he did. And he had a pretty solid career in his heyday. Dak Prescott, however you guys feel about him, I think Dak is a good quarterback. It just, it just hasn't been able to get over the hump. But a lot of these guys are taken in the first round, a lot of these franchise QBs, and then you have the Tom Brady's of the world who were drafted super late, but that's an anomaly. That doesn't happen every day. So draft position in particular in certain positions as far as players on the field, it definitely matters, man. I don't think we could say it doesn't. Stiller Card says, Tomlin and the Rooney believe you can get a franchise QB late. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Rajan, good point. He says, can we do the same thing to Terrell Austin that we did with Matt Canada? Yeah. And I appreciate I forget who it was, which one of you guys reminded me. I think it was still Lee. It reminded me that we did actually fire Matt Canada. So, yeah. But, yeah, it doesn't look like any of these guys are going anywhere. So, we'll see what 2025 holds, guys. But I think that's all I got tonight, man. I just really wanted to go through those comments and share them with you guys and kind of just say what's he really saying. And what he's really saying is going to be much of the same. He believes the coaches that he has are in place. He believes that most of them will be retained. He believes that Arthur Smith, his second season, allows him to get more in his bag as far as his his system, and he, like I said, he believes he has the right guys in place. He would like to sign either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. And he clearly said, even though he might not have said it verbatim, but he clearly said that, listen, this team has a winning culture. We are happy with winning. We would like for us to win more playoff games and potentially get a Super Bowl, but with us continuing to win is a winning culture. That's basically what he said by saying, hey, we got another season at 10 wins and we got into the playoffs. Talked very, kind of perked up when he said that. And again, that translates to this. That's what I hear. We good with the ching, ching, ching. But all right, good people, I'm going to get out of here, man. But before I do, I'm going to let you know what to do. If you like this video, you're going to hit the like button. If you like the content, you're going to subscribe. And then also, once you are subscribed, I would recommend turning on the notification bell so you know when videos have been uploaded or they are live streamed. Before I leave, I'm always going to end with this. Hey guys, stay safe, especially now. Boy, that's a lot going on. That's all I'm going to say. This ain't the show for that, but man, stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank you all for tuning in, and I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.